From the scary idea of murder, to being swept away by waves, and even the wild tale of a sea serpent taking them, this is the strange story of the missing keepers of Flannan Isle Lighthouse. We'll explore the mystery surrounding their disappearance, including the curious account of a sailor crying about a storm, and how all prayers to stop it suddenly came true. The Flannan Isles, named after St. Flann, consist of 7 rocky uninhabited islands known as the Seven Hunters, with the lighthouse situated on the island, Isle and More. The initial proposal for a lighthouse on Isle and More was submitted in 1853, reflecting its growing importance as a landmark for Atlantic shipping. However, actual construction didn't commence until 1895. The Alan Stevenson served as the engineer, while George Lawson of Rutherglen oversaw the building work. Additionally, George Lawson constructed the residential houses for the lightkeepers' families at the shore station in Brestcleat on the Isle of Lewis. Since there was no radio communication between the Flannans and Lewis at that time, Mr. Roderick Mackenzie was appointed as an observer for the light, receiving an annual payment of £8. Mr. Mackenzie's responsibilities included monitoring the lighthouse from his vantage point at Gallon Head, Lewis, 18 miles southeast, and reporting any signals or failures in the light's operation. In the event of a malfunction, immediate telegraphic notification to the head office in Edinburgh was required to arrange prompt repairs. The unusual events began when Roderick Mackenzie, a gamekeeper on Lewis, noticed that the lighthouse had not been illuminated for 8 consecutive nights. Initially attributing this to bad weather and sea mist known as har, he started to feel a growing sense of unease about the situation. Despite his concerns, he decided not to report it to head office in Edinburgh. On December 14th, passing ships observed the lighthouse lit up, but the following evening it remained dark. This pattern continued until December 15th, 1900. Meanwhile, Captain Holman and his crew aboard the SS Archdor were on their routine journey from Philadelphia to Leith. However, instead of encountering the expected light from the lighthouse, they were met with darkness and the loud cries of wild birds. This raised Captain Holman's unease, indicating that something was amiss. Upon the ship's arrival in Leith on December 18, 1900, the sighting was reported to the Northern Lighthouse Board. Although relief for the lighthouse keepers was scheduled to arrive on December 20th, adverse weather conditions delayed the departure of the Lighthouse Board tender Hesperus from Lewis until 6 days later. Eventually, by midday on December 26th, the Hesperus anchored off the East Landing, marking the culmination of the strange sequence of events. As the Hesperus approached the island, they raised a flag to signal their arrival, but the lighthouse didn't respond. They honked the boat's horn multiple times and even launched a flare, but there was still no answer. The island seemed eerily quiet. The boat docked at the East Landing, and Joseph Moore went ashore alone to investigate what had happened to the light and his 3 friends and fellow keepers. As Joseph climbed the steps toward the lighthouse, he felt a chill run down his spine. At the top of the tower, he saw 3 large, storm-black birds perched as if they were 3 drowned sailors on a ghostly ship. They silently flew away toward the sea and disappeared, leaving Joseph feeling unsettled. The lighthouse door was closed but not locked. Inside, 2 of the 3 oilskin coats were missing from the entrance hall. Joseph proceeded to the kitchen area, where he found half-eaten food and an overturned chair, as if someone had hastily left. Strangely, the kitchen clock had stopped. Moving to the next level, Joseph discovered a starving canary on its perch and the lighthouse log and work notes for 2 days written on a slate. He checked the bedrooms with trepidation, feeling as though unseen eyes were watching him. However, the beds were empty and neatly made. In the light room, everything appeared to be in order. The lamp was cleaned, the fountain was full, and the blinds were drawn for daytime duty. However, despite this, the 3 keepers, Donald MacArthur, who was 40 years old and occasionally filled in for William Ross, the first assistant who was on sick leave, James Duckett, who was 43 years old and the principal keeper, and Thomas Marshall, who was 28 years old and the second assistant, seemed to have disappeared without leaving any clues behind. Joseph rushed back to the boat to share what he had seen, eager to leave the island and its unsettling silence behind forever. However, that night, Joseph and 3 other crew members had to return to the deserted lighthouse to keep the light running, watching and waiting through the long dark hours. The next morning, they searched the entire rocky island. The only clue they found was at the western landing. The mooring ropes, landing ropes, and crane handles were gone, and the iron railings along the footpath were bent. The lifebuoy, usually stored 110 feet above sea level, had vanished, and a massive rock estimated to weigh a ton had been dislodged. Robert Muirhead, the superintendent who knew all three men well, conducted an investigation. He discovered that the last entries in the lighthouse logbook were unusual. On December 12th, Thomas Marshall, one of the keepers, wrote about severe winds unlike any he had seen in 20 years. He also noted that James Duckett, the principal keeper, had been unusually quiet, and Donald MacArthur, an experienced mariner and frequent tough brawler, had been crying. The log entries on December 13th mentioned that the storm was still raging, and all three men had been praying. But why would experienced keepers, safe in a new lighthouse 150 feet above sea level, pray for a storm to end? Moreover, locals reported no storms in the area on December 12th, 13th, or 14th. The final log entry on December 15th said, "Storm ended, sea calm. God is over all." Despite extensive searches, no bodies were ever found. There are various theories concerning the disappearance of the keeper. Some suggest they were washed away by an unexpected wave while securing the ropes at the landing stage. Others propose they were abducted or even devoured by a sea serpent. These are just a few of the theories circulating regarding the missing keeper. The first theory revolves around the personality of MacArthur. Known as an ill-tempered man prone to resolving disputes with his fists, it's speculated that he may have initiated a confrontation on the western landing, leading to the tragic deaths of all three men by falling from the cliffs. The second theory suggests that one of the men, likely MacArthur once again, may have murdered the other two, disposed of their bodies into the sea, and then committed suicide by jumping off the cliffs. While these theories add a sensational element to the mystery, there is no concrete evidence to support either scenario. It's conceivable that tensions could have escalated among the men due to their close quarters and MacArthur's history of violence. But without physical evidence or crime scenes to investigate, these theories remain speculative. Another theory said that they were washed away by a wave, based on additional clues that were discovered near the landing platform. Muirhead observed ropes scattered across the rocks, which were typically stored in a brown crate 70 feet above the platform on a supply crane. It's possible that the crate had been dislodged and the lighthouse keepers were attempting to retrieve the ropes. When his colleagues failed to return, MacArthur may have ventured out to find them, only to be swept away by an unexpected wave. This was the initial and most plausible theory, leading Muirhead to include it in his official report to the Northern Lighthouse Board. However, some members of the Northern Lighthouse Board remained unconvinced by this explanation. Questions arose regarding why none of the bodies were washed ashore, why one of the men left the lighthouse without taking his coat, particularly given the harsh December weather in the Outer Hebrides, and why three experienced lighthouse keepers were caught off guard by a wave. The decision to embark on such a risky expedition instead of remaining in the safety of the lighthouse may be explained by Marshall's previous fine of 5 shillings for losing equipment in a previous storm. As a family man, Marshall likely prioritized securing the equipment over his own safety. While these questions were important, the most pressing inquiry revolved around the weather conditions at the time. The seas were expected to be calm, as confirmed by the visibility of the lighthouse from the nearby Isle of Lewis. Any inclement weather should have obscured the lighthouse from view, raising doubts about the calm sea conditions reported during the incident. The last but not least theory is the legend around the lighthouse. Legend has it that a sea serpent or giant seabird may have carried the men away, while other rumors suggest they were taken by a ghost ship or even abducted by aliens. Some speculate about the old island legends, including the ruined chapel and ancient burial grounds from the time of the Druids, portraying the island as a site of storms and inexplicable events. Subsequent lighthouse keepers at Isle and Moore have reported hearing strange voices in the wind, calling out the names of the 3 dead men. Despite ongoing speculation, the mystery remains unsolved, making it one of the most perplexing cases in Scottish maritime history. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey into the mysterious disappearance at the Flannan Isles Lighthouse.
We've explored various theories, delved into historical accounts, and pondered the enigmatic circumstances surrounding this perplexing event. The Flannan Isles mystery continues to intrigue and fascinate, leaving us with unanswered questions and endless speculation. As we wrap up our discussion, we encourage you to share your thoughts on what you think happened. Feel free to leave your theories and insights in the comments below. Additionally, if there's anything we may have missed or overlooked, we welcome your input and observations. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing content. Until next time, keep exploring and never stop seeking answers to the mysteries that surround us. Thank you for watching.